エンパイアの応援してくれるってよ。みんなブローケンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here with our co-host, the reigning, defending Broken Predictions champion, King Rome. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Jeff, I have just texted you the Curly's order. It is a pay-per-view weekend.
It is a pay-per-view weekend. We got Revolution this weekend. Let's go. Coach Nick in the chat. How are you doing tonight as well, sir? Asking you because you are our co-host's opponent at Revolution for the Broken Predictions Championship, so good luck to you both. We are here tonight with our AEW Rampage Review, episode number 123, and we had a live Rampage from San Francisco. And man, just another one of those times where it was obvious how good Rampage was being live. You know, remember when I used to argue with you about it? I was like, no, you can't even tell. I've given up the argument. It's obvious now when it's live. It's a much better show, and it was so good tonight. I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't think that this Rampage was very good.
Really? Well, me and the Coug definitely disagree with you.
Okay, so let me rephrase that. I don't think that as a go-home show, this was a very good episode of Rampage. I feel like there was a little bit of things here and there that kind of added to the pay-per-view. But while the action wasn't very bad, there was great matches on the card. This didn't feel like a go-home show for me.
I got you.
Still sold on the pay-per-view. I'm like, Dynamite was fantastic and excellent, but yeah. I don't.
What Rampage felt like to me tonight was matches that didn't have time to get on to the Revolution card seem to have gotten pushed here to Rampage. You know, we got that hour-long Iron Man match with MJF, so I think, you know, maybe a couple of things got pushed down here, but why no Keith versus Swerve? What do you mean, Coach? We got Keith versus Swerve tonight, didn't we?
I think he's saying at the pay-per-view.
At the pay-per-view, yeah, I got you. I think, yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it got pushed to tonight, and, you know, it is what it is. But those of you that are waiting, we are going to be doing our Ring of Honor episode number 1 review directly after Rampage's review. And then we will be doing our Revolution prediction show right after that as well. So stay tuned. We got an awesome night for you guys here. So, you know, without further ado, let's get started with the Rampage review. We started off right away with Claudio and Wheeler Yuta making their way down the ramp with the Dark Order attacking from behind. And I didn't even realize that Aussie Open and Top Flight were already in the ring until they kind of switched one of the camera angles here. I thought this was an awesome way to start off. Anybody who was, you know, watching the movie that was on before, I think it was Kong or Godzilla versus Kong. That would definitely have held my attention for a few moments there. I would have been like, holy shit. So this was a great start. We had, obviously, the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio, Wheeler Yuta, Dark Order, Silver and Reynolds, Aussie Open, and Top Flight. The Kingdom was ringside watching, along with Rush and La Faction Ingobernables. What do you want to call him now? I guess Preston Vance. We can call him, you know, whatever you want. He was backstage watching on the television there, so I like this this kind of division we're building here. You know, we actually getting a nice focus on the tag team division once again. You know, I thought this was a little bit of a sloppy match for just about the first half of it. But once John Silver started doing his run wild thing and he kind of took everybody out, it stopped it from being so sloppy, and it forced everybody to kind of have a couple of one-on-one sequences here and there. And I thought they got it right back on track. And I thought this was actually really, really good by the time we got to the end here. Dante was putting on a freaking show in there. His brother Darius, not so much, missing drop kicks by like a foot and a half, 2 feet. I mean, come on, man. That's one of my pet peeves is when someone misses a drop kick. I'm like, dude, hit the person. You're not going to hurt them. Drop kick them in the chest. You're not going to hurt anybody with a drop kick, please. You know, 2 feet away is unexcusable. But this was a fantastic match, man. I thought it was an awesome finish with John Silver getting his German suplex, you know, finisher for a pin, and Wheeler Yuta jumping in and throwing Silver out of the ring and taking the win away from him, getting that 1-2-3. This caused the Dark Order to kind of still be pissed off after the match and attack while we were going up the ramp. I thought this was a decent four-way tag team match. Now, a bunch of people before this match were saying, "Hey, this looks better than the one on the Revolution card." And at first, I was kind of like, I see where you're coming from, but I don't think there's any way that this one is going to be better than the one on Revolution. I think this Revolution 4-way is going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome. So for starters, I'm always going to say this when they do a tag team, multi-team match. Your tag rules are dumb. Every team should have a legal man in the ring. I'm gonna say it every time.
Yeah.
So finally, TK gets it. Like, I understand he didn't make these rules originally, but it's your promotion. You can do these rules however you want to do them. Just do it where each team's got a legal guy in the ring, because it's just dumb. Like the psychology of it makes no sense. Why would, for example, Dante or Darius ever tag themselves out of this match to another team, not knowing that there's no guarantee you're getting back in to win the match, to win the winner's purse? It makes no sense. Stop doing it, please.
It invalidates all the work that you just did in the ring, like wearing down your opponent. So you're going to tag in one of your other opponents to take advantage of it.
Yeah, you're helping someone else win the match.
Yeah. And like I said, we're not ragging on Tony here. That's just the way that these matches normally work. We wish that they would go outside the norm here and switch it up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but again, it is Tony's show, so I mean, he could change it, but he's not. So I'm going to be holding it against him, but it is what it is. It's not a huge deal, but when you do these big matches, it is something that bothers me.
Yeah, and they just force you with your suspension of disbelief here to go to another level of like, okay, are you going to be desperate enough to give your opponent a chance to win instead of yourself? And it's just like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. You know, I completely agree.
Now, I also
go ahead.
I also want to say, shout out to the Dark Order for once again not being bad.
Yeah, absolutely. The attack before, they're getting some attitude going. I like this change. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Yeah, it's been on the up and up. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm happy with what I'm seeing. So yeah.
All right, next up we had a recap of the promos with Jon Moxley and Hangman Page from Wednesday. I really enjoyed how they clipped up these two promos and kind of spliced them together into a really nice video package here. This was fantastic. But nothing you didn't see on Wednesday. Next up, Jungle Boy's promo. Yes. This is another reason I loved this episode here. You know, we were all wondering like, hey, this kind of looked like Jungle Boy was digging a grave and this is going to be a buried alive match, but it just turned out to be like a no holds barred type situation. But here, Jungle Boy cuts another promo with his shovel in hand, and looks like we're getting he calls it the final burial match. So it looks like we're getting I guess what we would call a buried alive match. We are going to have a hole in the ground and we're going to have some dirt. JR confirmed it there. A new stipulation has been added. I am all for this, man. And this really solidifies to me though that Luchasaurus is showing up and somebody's getting choke slammed into the hole. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know about that 100%. It's definitely possible. But yeah, I love this promo. I thought it was really well done. I think Jack really killed it.
Hell yeah.
I love the line where he's like, you keep wanting to talk about my dad. I'm going to give you a chance to meet him when I put you in the fucking
Oh,
ground."
that line was so good, dude. I was like, holy shit.
I don't know. It was really, really good. I am going to once again knock the booking though, in a sense that this the communication of what this match is has not been conveyed very well, because Jack, like, it almost felt like three different people were trying to set up what this match was, and it just wasn't cohesive. So it's like last week they do the video with Jack burying Christian, or like, his thoughts of Christian, and then they announce it as a no holds barred match. And Christian says, like, I want to fight, like, this is what I want, and they book it like that. And then tonight, Jack once again is like, no, I no, like, I. It's almost like if it was a shoot, and people were like, he was like, I want to fucking bury him. I want to put him in the fucking ground.
Yeah.
And Tony's like, oh yeah, let's do a no holds barred. And then the next night, Jack's like, no, I want to fucking bury, I want to bury him. And so, like, I don't know, it's just weird, but I'm glad, I guess, that we're on the right track now, and this is going to be a really good match, I would assume.
Yeah,
I'm also
absolutely.
a little concerned, I'm going to say, because it's a buried alive match. You think Christian's done after this?
Not if Edge is coming, like we were talking about. I mean, I think he's done with this storyline, but you're right. Maybe if he buries him, is he really gonna?
I mean, yeah, if Christian loses, I mean, is he gonna? Like,
Yeah, is he really gonna like write his career off? He did kind of mention I use this business as my ATM, and
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And sorry if I'm not getting to everybody in chat. We're trying to hurry this up here a little tonight. What's up, Coach? What's up, Coog? Natasha, welcome everybody. So next up we had an absolute treat. When you posted that graphic of Emmy Sakura versus Rijo tonight, the joy and warmth that I felt in my heart, in my soul, just welled up inside. I love Rijo. And they didn't put out any graphics for this Rampage that made any sense for a thumbnail until I had already completed it. And this would have been perfect. Maybe I'll retroactively go back and put this Rijo on here.
So somewhere, probably in Connecticut, triple K, because this is the anniversary of the god awful promo that Paul Levesque cut on Booker T, leading into WrestleMania. The storyline where he was a racist and he won clean. Anyways, in Connecticut right now, Triple Paul, Vinnie Mac, some Saudi prince probably, they're having dinner, talking about dealings and whatnot. And Triple Paul's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. He runs into the bathroom, just fucking vomits into the sink. He's like, why am I having this this reaction from the core of my soul? And then he walks back out into the restaurant, and he looks over to the bar, and he sees TNT's on in the bar. And there's fucking Rijo coming down to the ring. And this Jesus Christ, this guy. He's like, he goes back to the table, he's like, I need to leave now. Because he fears Rijo. What a bitch. What a bitch he is.
Oh man, all these emotes trying to hop on here. All right, so this crowd absolutely exploded for Rijo when she shows up on the ramp there. She is absolutely one of the most beloved I want to say characters in AEW, but that's just what comes to mind. She's one of the most beloved wrestlers in AEW. We all love her. It's great when she's over here in the States. I love it. That rise up from being pinned thing where she kind of like just stands up out of nowhere. I absolutely love that spot when she does it. It's great. But Emmy Sakura destroys Rijo for quite a bit during this match here. She hits her with a freaking tilt-a-whirl backbreaker on the outside. I haven't seen that move in a while. Leave it to Emmy Sakura to bring back one of the old school awesome tilt-a-whirl backbreaker moves. Emmy Sakura hits her up against the barricade with a huge side body splash. Like, that looked nasty up against the barricade. Crowd goes nuts when Rijo hits a 619 and then a huge splash off the top rope. Emmy Sakura kicks out at 2 and the crowd goes nuts. I guess they went nuts because they were kind of, getting more of the match. I thought they were cheering for Rijo, but they cheered for Emmy Sakura kicking out here. This next sequence of the two of them having all of those roll-up finishes, that was one of the cleanest roll-up sequences I have ever seen. That was better than some Wheeler Yuta sequences, some Orange Cassidy sequences. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where they were going back and forth, rolling each other up with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. It was incredible.
Right.
So good.
Very, very good match.
Yep. Emmy Sakura misses her moonsault. Rijo goes to roll out of the way, and Emmy Sakura basically lands on her face onto Rijo's, I guess you say her behind. They tried to say it was her hip, but she landed like right on her ass. Rijo gets a nice roll up finish for this one. I think that's her second roll up style finish in the last 2 matches, and Rijo picks up the win. That's 2 awesome wins in a row for Rijo. So I wonder if she's gonna get some sort of a little push or something coming up here soon.
I wonder the same thing. I would say maybe she is part of the OG AEW team in the women's storyline.
That's not a bad idea.
She is getting a few wins, 2 wins in a week. I mean, that's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, man, you made me forget what I was thinking about. Damn, that's a good idea. But this was great. This was a fantastic match. I got to tell you, I'm completely turned around on Emmy Sakura. I used to not be super high on seeing her come down for singles matches, but her last 3 or 4 performances have just been absolutely fantastic. I love Emmy Sakura now. I'm a huge fan.
Well, it's like I told you, we were talking about it a few weeks ago when we did the Observer Awards and we went over them. I mean, Emmy Sakura is absolutely the most underrated wrestler. She is.
Yeah.
She is just so good. She's a mainstay on Elevation and Dark. She just every week she's going out there, having great matches, putting people over, but still looking, just badass, kicking ass, maniacal, all that stuff. And she's awesome, and so is Rijo.
Yeah, and my idea was Rijo possibly being a challenger for the TBS title, because that would make her like a pretty legit challenger, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, next up, we had a promo for the women's title match. We had Ruby Soho cutting a promo saying, I don't belong over here. I don't belong over there. She's like, I just want to win the championship. So at the moment, it doesn't look like Ruby is picking any sort of a side here. She's just like, leave me alone. I want to win the title from Jamie. So I guess it is what it is. They're kind of prolonging this blood and guts type women's build-up that's going on here. Saraya cut a promo as well saying she's going to win, and then Jamie Hayter, Hayter hits hard. She came in as well. This did what it needed to do for tomorrow, building up that match. You know what? We'll get to that at the prediction show. I was going to ask you who you want to win, but we'll get to that later. Next up, we had Powerhouse Will Hobbs versus poor Serpentico. All I wrote down here is R.I.P. Serpentico. Serpentico tried, but got destroyed.
So Serpentico is always really funny on Twitter. He's a really funny Twitter follow. Definitely recommend it. And so the match got announced, and of course everyone's like, "Oh no, Serpentico!" And Serpentico tweeted, because in kayfabe he doesn't know that he's booked yet. He's like, "Why is everyone so concerned?" Hashtag AEW Rampage. He's like, "Well, you don't know yet. You'll find out."
Oh, he was acting like he didn't know.
Yeah, he's like, "Why is everyone so upset? What's going on?" Just got to the building.
That's awesome. I love Serpentico. He is absolutely great to follow on Twitter. If you're not following him, you got to go for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Renee Paquette backstage with Konosuke Takeshita, and man, I absolutely loved this segment. First, he says, I don't have too many big wins under my belt. Maybe I need to go back to Japan. To which me, and I'm pretty sure everyone else, audibly yelled, no! Because I heard the crowd all immediately yell no. And, I want to say thank God, but it's hard to use that and Don Callis in the same sentence here, but here we are. Don Callis shows up and hands Konosuke Takeshita his card and says, listen, before you go back, give me a little time. I'll show you what I can do for your career. If I can't do anything for you, I'll drive you to the airport myself. This was awesome. If you're going to give me Konosuke Takeshita and Kenny somehow, some way involved with each other, yes, please. That's all I can say.
The invisible hand.
The invisible hand. And Konosuke does put the card in his pocket as he is leaving this interview, by the way. So, yes. I do want to mention a commercial. We don't do it too often here, but we got a commercial for Impractical Jokers. And who did we see on this commercial but MJF? And I loved the Impractical Jokers with Jericho on it, and I actually watched the show every once in a blue moon myself. I can't wait to see this one with MJF. This is going to be freaking fantastic.
Okay.
You got anything for that one?
Was there anything else that you saw?
I just saw MJF. No, what else was there?
Okay, so is the next thing on your notes the Mark Briscoe segment?
Yes.
Okay, so then you did miss it. Now, folks, there is something brewing that we don't know what it is yet. And I haven't seen anyone else talk about it. So I'm going to mention it now. So if it becomes a thing, as I always say, give me my flowers. So I was watching Elevation this week, Jeff. And this very peculiar thing comes up after one of the matches. And it's about 2 seconds long. And it says QTV. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Same thing came up really on Monday. The next night on Tuesday, I'm watching Dark. After a certain match, like a random match, comes up again. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then here tonight on Rampage, before the commercial break starts, we get another graphic for this QTV. Now, you could say, oh, well, it's just some random thing. However, I did some digging. And there's a Twitter account for it. And it is an AEW news account. So it's QTV, Quality TV AEW is the Twitter handle. And it says the only place for your real news on everything AEW. Right? So I'm like, this is really weird. Looking through some of the retweets. And like it almost seems like a dirt sheet for AEW. That feels like that's the gimmick, right? And some people were speculating like, what is this Twitter? And they have a website too. So I went on the website, and this was like during the commercial break. I went on the website, and it's like I said, it's qualitytvnews.com, and it says for the real dirt from AEW, real-time updates. Eager to stay up to date with the latest news, reviews, and analysis, the QTV newsletter is about ensuring that you stay informed and never miss out on all of the relevant developments. Get ready to be in the know. Now, here's the thing. Okay, Jordan saying Cardona retweeted it too. Interesting. Now, if this was like another AEW like side page, I feel like they would have plugged it more than they did. But the fact of the matter is, this showed up on official AEW programming 3 times this week. It just seems like it's something. I don't know what yet, but it just seems like it's something. And there's no mention of the All Access show, so it's not that. It has its own logo, and I would say that the Q looks kind of like, I don't know what it looks like. It almost kind of looks like Aperture Science's thing, I think, with like a circle in the middle from Portal, I think. I don't know. It's very interesting, and I would recommend people just be aware of it because I think it's going to lead to something. Somebody on Twitter.
Could you see TBS or TNT, Turner, whatever you want to call them, Warner, could you see them buying a smaller failing channel and just making another channel? You know what I mean? Like,
I can't see them doing that because again, their Twitter handle, their Twitter description, their bio is the only place for your real news on everything AEW. It's very brief. And another interesting thing is that it's still a very small Twitter handle. It's only got about 800 followers, but it's followed by AEW on TV, it's followed by AEW, and it's followed by Serpentico. Um, but Serpentico follows literally fucking everything. So I'm not gonna put too much into that. And then also looking at it, it seems like AEW's official account retweeted or tweeted that video and with a question mark on it. So like it's teasing something. I don't know what it is.
that's weird.
But I just wanted to make you guys aware of it, that I caught it. And the coach says Bray Wyatt and no.
No,
And then
thank you.
Natasha says 2 days ago AEW filed a trademark for QTV. There you go.
Well, alrighty then.
Jordan says it was at 500 followers just an hour ago, so it's picking up a little bit of traction. But
Okay, yeah. So they just created it and they're just advertising their own new little thing.
Right. But
Yeah.
again, we don't know what it is. I can't see it being an actual dirt sheet. Like I can't see this being a real thing. Like I don't know.
It's gonna be a kayfabe dirt sheet, bro. They're gonna reference it in storylines. That's what it is.
Maybe.
That's they're gonna. Oh my god, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be like a kayfabe news organization that they talk about, and they're gonna use it to kind of reference all of the dirt sheets at once. It's gonna be good. I like it.
I think that there's some sort of storyline coming out of it. I don't think that it's just.
That's what I mean. We'll see.
I think it's gonna be more than that. I think it's going to be like a storyline.
That actually got me excited. I got all like sat up in my seat. All right. Next up here, we had a Mark Briscoe promo on the Battle Royale. Speaking of his run down to the ring, and the Lucha Brothers show up here, and oh my God, yes, we are going to be getting a trios match of Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers versus Mark Sterling and his guys. What do we got? Josh Woods, Daivari, and Tony Nese. This is going to be great. I am such a massive Mark Briscoe fan now, and you guys know I love me some Lucha Brothers. I can't wait for this. This right here popped me like huge. Like I was on the couch, like I looked at the wife and I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know I wanted this match so bad." And she looks at me like, "Okay." So I'm super excited for this one here. Next up, we got the video package promos with Mark Henry instead of the live promos again. I actually was, I like that they're switching it up back and forth between the live promos and the video package promos. Remember, we were kind of thinking they were just going to go one way or the other, but I like how they're mixing it up.
Yeah.
So next up, we got Swerve and the Mogul affiliates, Parker Boudreaux. I didn't see Trench out there, right? Trench wasn't involved in this at all?
He was on the graphic. I think he was out there.
Yeah, I didn't see him, and I didn't see him get involved at all. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but if he was there, he was not very noticeable, especially for a guy covered head to toe in tattoos. But Keith Lee and Dustin Rhodes versus Swerve and Parker Boudreaux. Yo, Swerve is just, remember when this guy just like oozes charisma, and this dude's just an absolute star. Just him walking to the ring, man, that this guy he's got it, man. Just as soon as you see him, you're just like, yep, that dude's got it. Love it.
Now, on the flip side, it has to be said, last few showings, including tonight, just got to say it, Parker Boudreaux, really bad.
Yeah, I'm going to agree.
Just not like he's got to get some work in. I would send him to Ring of Honor. I would send him to I don't want to see this guy with Swerve, not wrestling anyway. Like I don't know. He's not moving the way you expect someone like of his look and his stature to move. He's just it's just not working.
There was a spot here that completely supports and is a perfect example of what you're talking about. where Dustin, he was like about to go after Dustin, and Dustin was like, hold on. Like he literally like put his hand out, like, hang on. And he like backed himself into the corner and was like, okay. Like he like reset the match for a second. I don't know if you caught that. But Parker was like about to charge him, and when Dustin put his hand up, he kind of just was like, oh, all right. And then when he got into the corner, then he was like, okay, continue. But yeah, Parker just needs some reps. I actually think he would do much better down in Ring of Honor with Ari Daivari back, Trustbuster type thing or whatever. But it is what it is right now. But I completely agree with you. He definitely needs some reps. His last few showings have not been the greatest. I'm not sure if he needs to be an in-ring guy so much. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he should just be a big muscle guy that's most of the time on the outside, like a Commander Aziz type dude. Like that. I don't even know if that guy ever even had a match.
First of all, do not fucking say that somebody needs to be like Commander Azizu or whatever the fuck it. Don't. First of all, Jeffrey, do not do that. Like, why would you do that? Why? What's next?
Because
Like,
he's bad right now.
this fucking world championship material over here. This guy, fucking Jesus Christ. Anyways, no. If you're there to get physical, like it's one thing to be a manager, but if you're not a manager, I expect you to be able to go into the ring. You don't have to be a main focal point in the ring. You could still be kind of like his lackey and just kind of get involved. But I need you to go in the ring and be in the ring and be able to function in the ring. And honestly, to date, we haven't seen it from Parker, and I would like to see it. It hasn't been very good.
Yeah, I agree with Natasha in chat there. Needs to get some reps on Dark, 100%. Absolutely. All right. So this match was actually really good, though.
Yeah.
Even though because Parker wasn't in it a huge amount, but Dustin took a huge beating in the first half of this match. Here gets an awesome hot tag to Keith Lee. Keith Lee and Parker Boudreaux's, their brawl that they had was good, but it was kind of overshadowed by like what you said. Parker's a little bit of a down performance there. But Keith Lee looked so good in this, and I actually really, really enjoy his that white grayish hair that he's got going on, and it like matches with the beard. I think it makes him look badass.
I love how the Coug is like, who the fuck is Commander Aziz?
Who the fuck is Commander Aziz?
And you know what? Natasha just made me realize, did Apollo Crews really just rip off the Prince Nana character?
Yeah, 100%.
Son of a fucking bitch.
And then they had a Nigerian drum match.
That sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jeff watched the entire thing.
That was definitely the bathroom break match of that pay-per-view. I like legit remember getting up and being like, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So there was a spot in this, man, where Keith Lee, it looked like a choke slam, but Keith kind of like let Swerve go at the top, and he used his momentum to push him up higher in the air. I swear, Swerve looked like he was at least 10 to 15 feet up in the air, just flat, and he came down, splat, belly flopped right on the mat. That was insane. It was like, remember the moment when he did the Beal to, when I think it was Isaiah Cassidy, and that was just like, holy shit, he just launched a dude 20 feet across the ring. That was another one of these moments for me. Like, if you didn't see it, Keith Lee basically threw Swerve up in the air with a choke slam, but like propelled him up in the air as if like Superman did it. And it caused Swerve to come down in a belly flop. It looked incredible. I don't know if I'm just making a big deal out of it, but I thought it was freaking awesome.
So real quick funny thing on Twitter that happened. So 2 days ago, Serpentico tweeted, Snake Man is undefeated in the Cow Palace, which is where AEW has emanated from last Wednesday and tonight. 2 days ago, somebody replied to this tweet. Martin Silenus said, at Tony Khan, can we please have Snake Man versus a fun guy like Will Hobbs for Rampage? And then Serpentico has just 5 minutes ago quote tweeted this tweet and said, "WTF, you did this." So did Tony Khan look at it and be like, "Book it," 2 days ago?
He did. That's funny.
Oh man.
I love the way that like their Twitter accounts all have continuity with the storylines as well. It's great. So after Swerve gets thrown 15 freaking feet up in the air, he gets hit by a huge, or I'm sorry, this was Parker. Parker gets hit by a huge BBC, the Big Bang Catastrophe by Keith Lee, picks up the 1, 2, 3. I thought this was a fantastic match, even though Parker didn't look amazing. Just give him some reps, put him in there with some guys who know how to work with the big guys, and let's just get some reps on him. He'll be fine. I actually started to get up and, get running over here to the computer to try to get the pod ready. But all of a sudden I hear Jericho start talking and cutting a promo on Ricky Starks. And I look over at the TV and Ricky Starks is menacingly walking up behind Chris Jericho. And I was like, oh shit. I actually popped here. And they did this so perfectly where Jericho looked down because we know he has a monitor, right? So Jericho looks down and he sees the monitor and he's like, what the hell? And before he can react, Ricky Starks starts beating him down. And that's how we go off the air with Ricky Starks and Jericho in a pull-away brawl. I loved the end of the show here. I absolutely loved how Ricky looked walking up behind him. It looked great.
I agree. I thought it was a great shot. I really love the shot of him standing behind Jericho. It was very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Natasha says, I don't know if they know what BBC stands for. No, that's what Keith Lee has always called it. They won't say BBC. They'll say Big Bang Catastrophe, but they won't say BBC.
Look, folks, it's called a double entendre. He knows what he's doing when he does this. He's a DBZ, he's a Dragon Ball fan, so he called it the Big Bang. But it's also, I don't need to explain it. Like this,
it's my favorite name of any wrestling maneuver ever. It's amazing. All right, so that does it for the Rampage review. And I thought this was a great episode of Rampage, but I do agree with you, not so much so as a go home episode. But I think we did get a few matches pushed off of the pay-per-view card onto this episode. So, it is what it is, but I'll take a decent episode of Rampage. No big deal.
I would say I feel a little bit better about it talking it through. But I mean, yeah, it was a good hour of wrestling, which did do a little bit to add towards the pay-per-view. Not as much as I would have liked, but it is what it is. I'm okay with it. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Natasha, if that reminded you of the one in WWE, you got to look up the Keith Lee rising up on in AEW. I think it was better than the WWE one. It was good. So that does it for the Rampage review. Rome, are you ready to go with our Ring of Honor review?
I am. So I'm gonna kind of speed through it.
Yeah.
Just generally, you didn't watch, so we're just gonna run through it. So yesterday was the first episode of Ring of Honor. I would say overall, it was a very enjoyable show. Ran a little over 2 hours. I would like to see them kind of keep it a little under, just because at this point Tony Khan has wrestling on Monday through Friday. But at the end of the day, number one, just to kind of make sure people that don't know understand what this new Ring of Honor is. It's definitely not another episode of Elevation or Dark. These matches are 15 minutes in length each for the most part. Like, the wrestlers are being given plenty of time to work and to get the rep in. And I thought that was great. I was also really pleasantly surprised that they did a really good job of having a good amount of promos. Again, my thought was, is this going to be just Elevation, but with like titles? And it wasn't that. It was definitely not that. So definitely thought it was great. Let's run through what happened on the show. First up, we had Slim J versus Mark Briscoe. Mark ends up winning this match. Thought it was a good match.
I love both these guys.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good first match for Ring of Honor to have Mark Briscoe in it, so that was great. Next up, we had a Tony Deppen promo, which the wording of it was a little interesting, because the way Tony Deppen was talking, I don't want to get too much into it, but he says he's facing someone next week, and maybe I wasn't listening fully, but you know, we'll see. I don't want to spoil other things. But I mean, so he reads this promo about this person he's facing next week, and he reads off like a paper, like the way he was reading it was like I didn't write this because like it was very bad, but I felt like it was an intentional bad because after he does it, like Lexi Nair is like trying not to like crack up, if you know what I mean. Like he's reading off this paper, this promo, and you know how like you can tell when somebody didn't write something and they're reading it for the first time out loud.
Yeah.
That's how it sounded like. And then like as he walked away, Lexi was like cracking up. So I felt like it was intentional. It was because it was also like a crumpled up piece of paper. So yeah, it was funny. Um, Next up we had the Infantry versus the Kingdom. The Infantry is a team with the captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo, who has been on Dark and Elevation in past years. They faced the Kingdom. This is another really good match, actually. The Kingdom ended up winning this one. I'm very interested to see the Ring of Honor tag team division take shape and see where we go with it, especially because we're going to need to, crown new tag champions. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll have to see what happens with that.
Dude, I gotta say, Maria Kanellis does not get enough credit for how amazing she is for whatever roster she winds up on every time. She's just like an absolute solid presence no matter where she goes.
I agree with that. Yeah, Maria is she's awesome. All right, next up we had my favorite match of the night. Then for the New Japan Pro Wrestling television title, Blake Christian versus Zack Sabre Jr. And my God, this
Woo!
match went about 13 minutes, and it was fucking incredible. They had a nice little pre-match video package. Thought it was great. Halfway through the match, Zack Sabre Jr. calls out Bryan Danielson. During the match, he just turns to the camera. He's like, Bryan, I'm the best technical wrestler, not you. Something to keep in mind for maybe a Forbidden Door, something like that. And
What
Zack
we
Sabre
wanted
Jr.
last year.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. ends up winning this match, and it was awesome. Yeah, just great. Blake Christian, really underrated in my opinion. I think the guy works really well. What's up, Ed? Um, yeah, I thought this was a great match. Absolutely loved it. I would say that this was my match of the night. There was another match that people really liked, which I also liked, but this was for me my favorite match. Next up, we had a promo between Mark Sterling and Tenosuke Takeshita. This was hilarious. So basically, Takeshita has a match later in the night against Josh Woods. Mark Sterling says that he is petitioning for the match to be canceled, and he has a contract that Takeshita can sign to call off the match. And the reason that Mark says that this match should be called off is number one, it's a conflict of interest between Mark Sterling and Takeshita. And number two, he just doesn't like Takeshita. So Mark proposes that they cancel the match and they split the winner's purse. At first, they say 50-50, but then Mark says, well, with my legal fees, it's going to be more like 55-45. But you'll still get 45% of the winner's purse. What do you say? He hands him the contract. Takeshita rips up the contract.
I would have ripped it up too.
Yeah. Next up, we got a video package from Christopher Daniels. He says it may be a new era of ROH, but he is still in the thick of it, and there's more that he wants to do in Ring of Honor. Which led to his match against Rohit Raju. This was a fine match. It was more of a getting Christopher Daniels on the card kind of match. It wasn't a squash, but it was definitely a showcase of Daniels, which he ends up winning. And yeah. Next up, we got a promo with Rhett Titus and my notes messed up. There we go. Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams. They are former Ring of Honor tag champions, both Ring of Honor OG guys. They basically talk about how they want the tag titles again and they want to get back into it. Aussie Open shows up because Aussie Open is everywhere these last 2 weeks, literally. Aussie Open wants to face them next week on Ring of Honor television, which they accept. So next week we have Aussie Open versus Rhett Titus and Tracy Williams. Next up, we got the Konosuke Takeshita versus Josh Woods match. A lot of people love this match on Twitter. I also really enjoyed this match. This was really good. This is a great match. The Takeshita does end up winning. Between this and the Zack Sabre Jr. match, like these two matches, I think are worth the price of admission alone. Especially along with the main event, which was also really good. But yeah, definitely really, really good stuff so far here on Ring of Honor. Next up, we get a Claudio promo, and it felt very vintage for him because he cuts the promo in English about his opponent AR Fox, and then he cuts it in German, which was I really appreciated that. That was kind of a throwback to his older days of when he knew 5 different languages and he would cut promos in all 5 of them. That was great. Next up, we had the Embassy in a 6-man tag, trios match, if you would, versus Joey Keys, ISG, and a third guy whose name I didn't get because the Embassy fucking demolished these guys. The irony is not lost on me that week in and week out, Jeffrey Vegas, Jefffery, I'm sick of this Brian Cage thing. They never give him his due. He's a champion. He should be treated like a champion. And then finally, Ring of Honor happens, the place where you should be looking for him to be like that. You didn't watch. I was like, well,
Hey, listen, my petition.com to Tony Khan to please stop pinning Brian Cage worked. That's all I could say.
All I'm gonna say is the Embassy forever. Prince Nana, man, great guy.
Dude, I do love that guy.
I love Prince Nana so much. Next up, we had Metalik versus Ari Daivari. We had a nice little video package here about Metalik and all the matches he was winning on AEW TV, and now he's seeking gold in Ring of Honor. So if something interesting happened, then I don't know if it was done by accident or this is legit, just like this was written in this way. But so we don't see Metalik's entrance into the ring, and it's one of the few tonight that we did not, or during the show that we did not see. Now Ari Daivari comes out. And on commentary, Caprice Coleman and Ian Riccaboni are talking. They say that Ari Daivari paid for Metalik to not have an entrance tonight, which I thought was just really funny. And I don't know if it was like, I don't know if they like just didn't catch there was like a video bug and they needed to like do a storyline reason why, or I don't know, but it was really funny. So Ari Daivari ends up winning this match from after interference from Mark Sterling. Mark Sterling, by the way, all over tonight's episode of Ring of Honor or last night's episode of Ring of Honor. Like this guy was everywhere. I think we saw him like 6 times, which is great for him. Next up, we had a AR Fox promo. Thought this was a really good promo for him. He talks about how years ago he had tried out for Ring of Honor and he never heard back from them. Maybe he wasn't good enough then, but he says he busted his ass to get to where he is now, and now here he is on the first episode of the new era of Ring of Honor. He's main eventing for the World Championship. Producer Jeff just showing his figures that are irrelevant to my Ring of Honor review. My goodness.
My autographed Lucha Bros.
Yeah. All right, next up we had the Renegades versus Sky Blue and Madison Rayne. Thought this was good. Once again, the Renegades did not have matching hair. I'm going to say it every time. It makes no sense. Please fix it or get different. I don't know. Stop doing the twin gimmick. Doesn't work. But good match all the same. Funny story of what happened next. So we got a quick little video package about Peacock Power and Dalton Castle and how he will be on Ring of Honor television next week. I was watching the show. And I had Tiger in my lap, right? And I'm just watching Ring of Honor, and he's sleeping in my lap. And they had a peacock sound playing during Dalton's thing. And Tiger freaked out. And I'm like, Tiger, it's just the television. It's just Dalton Castle. He freaks out. He runs out of the room. I'm like, I guess cats don't like peacocks, which makes a lot of sense. But it was funny. Next up, we had a Wheeler Yuta in-ring interview. Wheeler Yuta comes out and talks with Ian Riccaboni. Ian refers to him as the junior member of the Blackpool Combat Club. Wheeler Yuta gets mad at him, saying that he's not a junior member, he is not a rookie. He surrounded himself with 3 of the best wrestlers, and that's what made him what he is today. Yuta wants to defend his title next week and issues an open challenge to anyone in the back to come out and accept the challenge next week for a Ring of Honor Pure Championship match. And out comes Timothy Thatcher. He comes out and he accepts the challenge. This is, again, a lot of stuff going on. Next up was Lady Frost versus Willow Nightingale. This is another great match. It was really nice to see Lady Frost get out of the, let's say, the Impact warehouse, shall we say.
Yeah.
And she ends up having a great match with Willow. Willow does end up picking up the win here. So there is a post-match interview where Willow talks about that she's been, she's like, I've been picking up wins in Ring of Honor at both the pay-per-views. I won matches. I think it's time I get a little bit of gold here and challenge Athena. I thought that this was actually a really good promo from Willow. It's the first time I feel like Willow's had like an extended promo, at least that I can remember. I mean, maybe someone can correct me, but I thought it was really good. I was actually pretty down for it. I was like, this is really great. This really fits Willow too, very well.
Yeah, and if you don't follow Lady Frost on Twitter, she's an awesome follow as well. I'm pretty sure she follows us and she likes our stuff all the time. So yeah, she's really cool.
Yeah, Lady Frost is great. I'm really happy for her. I hope to see more of her in Ring of Honor, maybe in AEW. She's very talented. She's awesome.
Yeah.
So Willow challenges, and by the way, Jeff, if I'm going too fast, please stop me.
You're good.
So Willow challenges Athena. Athena comes out, and at first Athena's just like, no. But then Athena kind of goes on to elaborate. She's like, Willow, you're just so happy to be here. And the thing is like, you can't just be happy to be here if you want to win this. And she's got the world title around her belt, around her waist. Athena actually ends up accepting her challenge for next week. So she kind of flipped pretty quickly there. She was like, no. And she's like, you know what? Fine, I will. Just to embarrass her. But no, all around this was a great match with a great segment. Tony Khan, he's still booking them women. Doesn't matter if it's AEW or Ring of Honor. And then last but not least, we had our main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. Claudio Castagnoli versus AR Fox. This was a really good match. Claudio ends up winning. Really enjoyed it. At the end of the match, Eddie Kingston comes out. He comes out, he says, I'm an independent contractor, 1099 on my tax forms. And he's like, I promised Mox I wouldn't beat your ass in AEW, but this isn't AEW. He says he's coming for the Ring of Honor title, and he wants Claudio to acknowledge him. Claudio leaves the ring without saying a word to him.
Yeah, and I honestly had no clue that happened. And I remember in Discord, I was like, would it be too soon for Eddie Kingston to show up and tell Claudio he's going to beat his ass? So that was actually pretty funny. I'm glad that happened. I was very happy for Eddie Kingston. And I'm telling you, he needs to win that belt. I want to see Eddie strapped up for sure.
I also just think it's funny that some dumb Mark reporter at the media scrum was just like, so Tony Khan, do you have anything to say about Eddie Kingston quitting AEW? And it's like, it's clearly a work because like they shot a promo, they aired it after the show, like it's so, and he shows up in Ring of Honor. It's clearly a work, and yet like so all Tony can say is Tony's like, pay
it's
attention.
In storyline.
Pay attention. No, he doesn't want to say that. So he says, pay attention to the wrestling industry, and you'll see what happens next. Which is his way of saying like, fucking watch the product, you dork.
Yeah.
Watch
the product, you dork.
So this was a great episode of Ring of Honor. Very happy with the $9.99 I spent for Honor Club. And I'm excited to see what the product looks like moving forward. Very optimistic, very positive after the first show. I felt like it kind of had a little bit of something for everybody here. So,
Yeah, and great. Not only do you get the episode a week of Honor of Ring of Honor, you get the whole Honor Club. You get the whole library. Like everything's there. You're not just buying the episode. It's definitely worth it. I just had a problem with my email. It wouldn't let me sign up. It wanted a credit card instead of like my PayPal, and I do everything through PayPal, so I got to like
Yeah, so
Gotta go find my card.
Unfortunately, Honor Club didn't let me use PayPal, so I did have to end up putting my card in.
Yeah.
Which generally I don't, but this time I was like, whatever, man. Like,
I just don't even know where mine's at. So usually I like usually on my phone everything lets me link PayPal, but since that didn't, I was like, oh, all right, we'll
yeah,
get it
I'm
next week.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said we'll get it next week. You know, I still plan on getting it. I couldn't.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I definitely kind of spending a little bit of time with the Honor Club and just generally the app and everything. I definitely have some criticisms of the app itself. I would like for them to kind of get on board with maybe getting some, smart TV apps, some console apps, something where I don't have to like put my laptop in, unplug my HDMI from my cable
Yeah.
box, plug it into my laptop. Again, we talked about it last week. I mean, Jeff, you've seen my setup. My setup is not very set up to have my laptop sitting there. So I had
Yeah.
to sit, like the chair that I'm sitting on now, I had to take it to the other room, unplug my HDMI from my cable box because I have so many HDMI cords from all my consoles, and it's just a headache. So I would like
Yeah.
to see them kind of move away from that and get like some more focused apps. Like you said, the PayPal thing was also kind of a disappointment. I would like to see that get fixed as well. Maybe add PayPal amongst other options. Um, Generally, yeah. So Ed says there's no TV app. Yeah, there's no TV app for it. So there's a phone app. I think there's something for Apple TV, but I don't have Apple TV, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to be using Apple TV. But
They'll get it. They just put it back up on Honor Club.
yeah. But so all around, thought this was a great show. The memes have been delightful about Tony Khan, where it's like Observer Awards 2023, Booker of the Year, first place, Tony Khan, AEW, second place, Tony Khan, Ring of
Yeah.
Honor. Um, Someone
You know,
also said, sorry, real quick. Somebody also said that Tony Khan booked Rijo versus Emmy Sakura tonight because AEW Tony Khan wasn't going to be upstaged by Ring of Honor Tony Khan. Oh man.
you know, I don't think enough is said about how that man runs a now very successful NFL team,
Mm-hmm.
a pretty successful Premier League soccer team, and please forgive me if they're not in the Premier League. I think they are, but I'm not sure. Dark on Mondays, Elevation on Tuesdays, Dynamite on Wednesdays, Ring of Honor on Thursdays, Rampage on Fridays. Dude, this guy is putting out great content while still being this busy. Could you imagine anybody over in the Fed trying to book their shows while also running an NFL team, while also running a professional soccer team? Like, this guy is incredible, to be honest with you.
No, he really is, and he loves doing it, and it just feels so genuine when he does it. Like he just loves doing this stuff. He loves pro wrestling that much, where he puts it out 5 nights a week. And like
Let's fucking
as
go!
a fan, as a customer, like yeah, it does get a little tiring. Um, but at the same time, like this dude just loves it. He's gonna keep putting this content out, and I love him for it.
It's great, man. It's great. All right. Well, I say let's get to it. Our Broken Predictions show here. And before we start, want to make sure, Coach Nick, are you here? Because I do believe there is one match that they just announced, I think tonight, that you may not have put into your predictions for me, but we'll see when we get there. And also at the same time, I feel like I'm a little bored this weekend here. I don't want to just sit back and watch the match between Coach Nick and King Rome. So the Coug, you have been called out, challenging the Coug just to a normal exhibition predictions match. You and I, well, it was going to just be you and I, but Natasha, you have shown so many predictions over the last couple of weeks in Discord that I'm making this a three-way dance between the three of us. So it's going to be Jeffrey Vegas versus the Coug versus Natasha in a predictions match as well here. So if you two are ready, get your predictions ready. When Rome puts out the match and gives his prediction, try to throw yours in chat and I'll get everything written down.
Oh, okay. I'll write it down.
Oh, you can write it down if you want. No worries. I I figured you were doing enough announcing the matches and everything, so.
That's all right. I'm kind of used to it. All right. All right, so first up for AEW Revolution, we have the 0 Hour. Only one match announced for the 0 Hour, which I understand why people only want one match announced, but it is what it is. The Varsity Athletes and Ari Daivari versus Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros. So I'm going to start this one out here with my prediction first. I think this is a really easy one. I think that this is Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros.
100% as well. Let me get Coach's predictions up here 1 second. All right, so for this one, this was I'm sorry, this was the pre-show match?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's got that one in chat there. So Coach Nick also says Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers. I am going to pick them as well.
What about Coog and Natasha?
All right, Natasha's got Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers.
Okay.
You writing these down, you said?
I am.
All right, thank you.
And we just need the Coog.
Coog. We'll get it written down when he goes in. You can go ahead and we'll keep moving on here.
All right. I mean, well, give me a second to write down the next one.
So, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can talk about the match if you want.
Coog, who you got? I got the Lucha Brothers for sure, my guy. I'm sure the Coog has the Lucha Brothers as well. I can't imagine anybody thinking that they won't be taking this one. I think it'd be safe to say you could even start writing it down. There we go. Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers. It says Mark gets the pin. Ooh. Natasha said Daivari takes the pin. Nice.
All right. Next up, we have the Final Burial. Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Christian Cage.
Ooh.
All right. So, Jeff, in the tradition of going back and forth, what is Coach's pick for this match?
The coach has chosen Jungle Boy Jack Perry as the winner of this match. Nope, you're good, Nick. I got most of them here. Just to check though, Coach, having this new stipulation added as a final burial match, do you want to change your pick? I would say no, but
Coach voted for the first one, right? The trios match.
Oh yeah,
he did, right?
Yes, he did. The Lucha Bros as well.
Okay, that's what I thought. For some reason, I didn't write anything next to his name. Okay. All right, so Coach took Jack Perry here, and he can bounce around and change his mind if he wants because of the stipulation. Myself, personally, I'm going with Jack Perry here. I think one way or the other. I think that this is a big moment for Jack Perry. This is him putting the Christian Cage storyline behind him. So yeah, I'm
3-year-long storyline.
Yeah, I'm picking Jack to win this one. I think the change in stipulation doesn't change it a lot. Like, could there be some sort of shenanigans, like you said, where Luchasaurus shows up and it choke slams him into the grave or something like that? Yeah, maybe. I also see it kind of plausible that maybe Luchasaurus shows up and choke slams Christian Cage into the grave. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with that as well. I think Jack Perry is kind of the way to go with this one. Very excited for this match, though. Very, very excited.
Yeah, same here.
All right, so you're going Jack Perry, you said?
I will be going with Jungle Boy Jack Perry as well. Natasha, she says Jungle Boy wins. Luchasaurus does get involved. And Coog, who you got for this one here? Jungle Boy or Christian Cage? There's the Coog. Jungle Boy wins.
All right.
And I did tell you Coach Nick has Jungle Boy as well, Jack Perry.
Yeah, correct. Yep. All right. Next up, everyone is banned from ringside when Chris Jericho takes on Absolute Ricky Starks. Very excited for this match to be to be done and over with. I think this is going to be a great match all the same. I think that this is like the storyline kind of ran dry, but tonight did a really good job kind of pulling me back in a little bit. That being said, it's my pick. I am going to go with Ricky Starks here. Again, I think this is the end of the storyline. I think Jericho has done an awesome job here putting over both Action Andretti and Ricky. He's really killing it. It's really appreciated, and it's making these guys look great.
All right. So for this one here, we have Coach Nick taking Chris Jericho. He is predicting a Action Andretti heel turn. Ooh, that would be sweet.
I could see it. I definitely could see it with Andretti heel turn. I could.
Jericho being like, he's been the new member of the JAS all along, Starks. All right, we got the Coug with Ricky Starks. I am going with Ricky Starks as well. I just think it would be bananas to have Jericho win this match. People would lose their minds. See here, Natasha. When hers pops in, I will let you know.
All right, I'll give me a second to write the next one down. So, oof. It's the longest one too. So Natasha, take your time.
Yeah. Oh, Natasha going with Chris Jericho as well.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not gonna write the whole thing out then. That's just fine.
No, yeah.
I know what I'll do.
You just write.
I know what I'll do. We'll all know who's in the match. All right. Next up is the AEW World Tag Team Championships in a 4-way dance. Obviously, it is the Gun Club versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus the Acclaimed versus Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. What is Coach Nick's pick?
All right, in the 4-way dance, Coach Nick has chosen the Gun Club to retain.
Okay. So I'm torn here. I really am. And I think that while wrestling Twitter largely unexcited for this match, I think number one, you're underestimating everybody inside this match. Number two, this is a complete toss-up in my opinion, and I think that is a testament of great booking. I think you could make a valid argument, that each of these 4 teams walk out of it with a win. My heart really wants to go with Cassidy and Danhausen. My heart really does. That being said, I think that the Guns are going to retain. I think it's a little too soon for them to lose. They haven't even had a title defense yet. Would I be surprised if they lost? No. I don't think the Acclaimed are winning the belts back. I just don't think that that's what they want to do. I think that the Acclaimed don't need the belts, so I'm not going with them. Which really for me could leave Jarrett and Lethal and Cassie and Danhausen. And again, I could see them going the route. If I had to pick another team, I would go Cassidy and Danhausen here. Just because they're both so over. And I could just see them, just Cassidy walking around with a backpack. He's like, it's too heavy.
Yeah.
Opening the backpack and there's multiple belts in it. But no, I am going with the Gun Club as well.
So as much as I don't want to, I am going to go with the Guns retaining. They have a storyline with FTR to continue. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Guns retaining. The Coug has also gone with the Guns retaining.
Okay.
Coach Nick, also has the Guns.
Yeah, we see Natasha.
Natasha, are you going to try to be different than everybody again this time, Natasha? Nothing wrong with it, just, It's going to be a great match either way. Jeff Jarrett in there is going to do his strut. Hopefully somebody takes a guitar to the face. It's going to be fantastic. I'm actually myself seeing a little bit of a daddy ass, I want to say heel turn, yeah, because he would, go back to his boys. Maybe they're going to be in the dire straits and daddy ass comes to the rescue like, I really should have helped you guys. I was a bad father. Natasha, the Gun Club will retain.
Okay.
Oh, I missed it. It was already up there. I'm an idiot.
All
but
right.
We already knew this.
Next up is the AEW Women's Championship match in a 3-way dance. Saraya versus Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho. Um, I believe this is my pick. Yep, my pick. Um, hmm. I think Jamie Hayter is going to retain the title here.
All right. Coach Nick also chose Jamie Hayter to retain.
Yeah, I just think it makes a lot of sense. I think that we do see Ruby Soho joining the WWE Originals. I do think that. And I think the only way that that makes sense is if Jamie Hayter ends up retaining. Because Ruby is going to make it clear that she wants the title. So if that means aligning with Saraya, she's going to do that. And I think that that's kind of where we get the in there. So that's what I'm going with.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna be going with Jamie Hayter as well, but I think this match is going to kick ass. I think this might be the dark horse match of the night. Like, the one that's not on everybody's radar, but at the end of the night, we're gonna be like, yo, that match kicked fucking ass. I have a feeling this is gonna be really good.
Now, the coach says in the chat, tell me why I thought Saraya may have a chance here, but Hayter is the pick for sure, I think. So I would say this. I think while a lot of our predictions seem to be going in a very similar way, I think that almost all of these matches have a lot of unpredictability to them, which is again testament to great booking. Where like you could make an argument for Saraya winning, you could make an argument for Jamie Hayter winning, you can make an argument for Ruby Soho winning. It's great booking. Coog says Hayter retains. Did Natasha?
Coog says Hayter retains. Natasha doesn't want to be the same as everyone else, but Hayter retains as well. No, yeah, that's what it comes down to. Like we're gonna, we'll have some extra special questions at the end as well to make sure, we'll get there.
Yeah,
Don't
we
worry.
always do. I mean, like this is just kind of we all sit around and talk for weeks about this stuff, so we generally always go around the same way.
Yeah.
For those of you who are joining us on our first prediction show, this is actually pretty for the course of what usually happens. There's always one or two matches that make or break it for everybody.
There's gonna be one or two that, we all differ on. You don't have to force it in there. It'll happen.
Yeah, follow your heart, man. Go with what hey, look, if you'd rather like always go for the points. If you think even if everyone else is going that way, if everybody's right, you're still tied. If you go a different way just to be different, sometimes it backfires because that means you'll lose a point on a layup. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that all the time. All right. Next up, the TNT Championship. Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. It is the coach's pick.
All right. So the Samoa Joe versus Wardlow match, Coach Nick has chosen Samoa Joe.
Of course.
Joe.
That's funny.
Joe.
I'm also going Samoa Joe. So, I think that Powerhouse Hobbs is winning the title next week. Which I would not expect them to drop the belt and then 3 days later drop it again, which is why I'm going Samoa Joe.
Okay. So I am actually going to be going with Wardlow on this one. I think this is the match where all of us are going to be bouncing around. Nobody knows who's winning this one. I'm going Wardlow. I actually think Wardlow takes the belt from Joe, and then during Hobbs's match with him next week, Joe interrupts just to beat up Wardlow, but Hobbs is going to be pissed off that his match is, ended now, and we're going to get Hobbs versus Samoa Joe for the TNT title in Ring of Honor. I think Hobbs would be an amazing ROH TV champ, but we shall see. I think this could go 4 or 5 different ways, to be honest with you. Let's see here. What do we got? We got the Coog. Yes, we do, Coog. We got you. Natasha and the Coog. So Natasha says Samoa Joe retains so Hobbs can face turn. Okay. So Samoa Joe for Natasha. Mm-hmm. Coog, who you got? And I gave you Joe for Coach. Yep. Coog says Joe, but barely. Am I the only one going Wardlow here? I am.
You are.
This is how you all go down.
Oh, yeah.
This is how you go down.
All right. Next up is the Texas Death Match. or Texas Death. John
Texas
Moxley
Death.
versus Hangman Adam Page. It is my pick. Now look, right? So I'm gonna quote Drink Kilo Club because he put it really well. This is the heart of AEW versus the soul of AEW. This is, I would say, keep an eye out on this one because I think this is the one that's going to steal the show at the end of the day. I'm going with Hangman. I think that Adam Page is him. Obviously, I've been the guy riding on the horse with Hangman up until when everyone else has joined us. Welcome to everybody getting on board. This is a big moment for him. This is going to be a huge moment for him. This is the moment where I think, obviously, Mox isn't going anywhere, but he's going to put over Hangman here, in my opinion. And yeah, so what's Coach's pick?
Coach, he says it in chat, and I'm pretty sure he is correct. You are going to be proud. Coach has gone with the Hangman, Adam Page.
I'm super proud of you, Coach. Not only are you on board with Hangman, but you're definitely going with your head here.
And Natasha says, Adam Page wins surely, right? Right? Yeah, yes, I agree. I think we're all going to be going Hangman here. But Coog, have not seen the Coog's pick here yet. Hangman in an effing bloodfest. You know,
it's gonna be so
with how
good.
much Mox was bleeding, it's not going to take much to bust that back open. I think they did that on purpose to make it easier to bust him open a hard way. It's going to be great.
All right. Next up is the AEW World Trios Championship. In a trios match, we have the Elite versus the House of Black. Coach Nick, make your pick.
Coach Nick has made his pick with the House of Black.
Are you serious? Oh, no way. I am also going House of Black. I am very proud of Coach tonight. So I don't think that this feud is over, but I think that it makes sense. I think the House of Black need the win so badly here.
Absolutely.
It's so imperative that the House of Black pick up the win on this one. Like, bro, they need to. They need to win. Like, the Elite can take the loss. Plus, I hope that the Elite are leading up to something else, which we'll talk about when we get to the end of the prediction show, because there's one thing I want to talk about after this. But, yeah, I just think the House of Black are going to win here. I hope they do.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you. I think it's time to pull the trigger and make the House of Black a focal point of the show. You know what I mean? These guys, I don't know what else to say other than they are absolutely freaking awesome every time they're on my screen. So yeah, put the belts on these dudes. The Elite don't need the belts, so let's do it. Yeah. Let's see here. Natasha says going House of Black. They haven't won a feud yet. They really need this. Agree. The Coog. What do we got from the Coog here? Ed says House of Black needs to win as well. Time for the Elite to go back to tag team and singles. Absolutely. It's where we get Punk return and FTR return. Yes. Coog says House of Black as well. Nice unanimous. That's why we're all such good friends here. We all think so much alike, you know?
Sure. Last of the card, the 60-minute Iron Man match for the World Championship. MJF versus Bryan Danielson. It is my pick, and my God, I'm going to be heartbroken. I'm going to be in shambles. There's no way MJF is losing yet. And it sucks. It really does. My heart, like if we were doing heart picks, right, I would bet my house on Bryan Danielson. But it's just not happening. Like it's just not. It's so depressing because this guy just deserves it. But yeah. What is Coach's pick?
All right. Well, the coach has chosen MJF as well.
Okay. What about you?
Natasha is going. Oh, I'm sorry. She was going with Malachi Black there. Okay. So for me, I am actually. I don't think this is a hot take. I am going with the best professional wrestler in the world, Bryan Danielson.
I hope you're right, but man, you're really not going to be right here.
You know, this is one of those times where you're like, there's no way they take the belt off of this kid because it's too early. But at the same time, having Danielson as the world champion of AEW at this moment in time, I think could be a tremendous thing, for ratings and other things like that. And you could still, because of the way we're doing an Iron Man match here, imagine Bryan just goes up on points and MJF finishes this match in control, but just can't get the final pin. And he loses, but he's the one on top, if that makes any sense. Danielson's beaten up, but he's winning by points. And MJF just takes the belt and runs off, and he's like, no, I'm still champion. You know what I mean? Bryan Danielson, my pick.
I think you just made a heart pick.
Yeah, I know. All right, Natasha goes with MJF is winning, but it will be at the last second. Salt of the earth. Oof. Coog, anybody see Punk returning to screw somebody? Oh my God. There you go. That's how you take it away from MJF and it doesn't hurt. Punk returns.
All right. So those are our picks. Time for some bonuses. And I got a few planned, Jeff. You feel free to add afterwards. Bonus number 1, it's our legacy question. The question we always go with. How many tables will be broken? Let's see here. Who went first last time? Was it Coach or was it me?
You did, because I think you asked me
okay.
Who he had after you gave yours. Yep.
Right. Okay, so Coach, you have to tell me how many tables you think are going to be broken during the entire pay-per-view, from the start to from the first bell to the last bell. How many tables will be broken? Coach says 3 tables. Okay.
All right, so we've got the 4-way dance has a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho Starks has a Joe Wardlow has. Every match here has a possibility for a table spot. Holy shit.
So, yeah, I mean, I think for me, this is actually
let me go first so I can help your number here. I'm going to go with 2. I think it'll be 2.
See, I think that's what I'm either thinking 2 or I'm thinking 4. So Jeff,
Coog going with 5.
Who says 5?
Coog says 5. Natasha says 4. Coach says 3. I say 2.
Yeah, I'm torn here because
we can pick the same ones. Yeah,
I'm thinking 2. I'm thinking 4.
Well, that's fine, because if you pick 2, you're not facing us. You know what I mean? You're facing Coach, and you guys two.
I know. I'm not worried about that. I'm more so worried about what I think is going to have happened. I want to look at the card again. Looking at the card, I mean, there are a few no DQ matches on there, but the only match where I realistically see a table getting broken is the death match. So the question is, how many tables are they going to fucking break?
Yeah. Oh, well, I think we're going to be surprised. I think Coog's going to be on with 5.
No, so Ed has said go Price is Right on this. In the past, we have not done that. We decided previously that we don't do Price is Right rule on it. You got to be on the money for the points.
Yeah, we don't do closest to. If you're on the money, you get the point. This is just like an extra point.
Okay. I'm going to go with 2. I'm going to lock in on 2.
Okay.
I won't be surprised if it's 3 or 4 though. Let me put it that.
That's fine.
All right.
So between
do you have
in our match it'll be 2 for me, 4 for Natasha, and 5 for Coog, 2 for you, and 3 for the Coach.
All right. Jeff, do you have any bonus questions? Because I do have a few, but I want to give you the opportunity to kind of
I actually really, really like Coach's suggestion of how many people get busted open. So prediction of how many different wrestlers get busted open or show color, I guess the words would be. I'm going to go with 4. think we see 4 different people showing some color.
Okay, Jeff's saying you said 4?
Yeah.
4, okay.
Ed says the timekeeper's table is not long for this world.
I'm going to go 5 on this.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of opportunity for busted open on this. What about the coach?
Coach, how many people you got for getting busted open, sir?
We also need Natasha and Coog as well.
Yep. Coach has 3.
Okay.
All right. Natasha going with 4.
Okay.
And Coog, how many you got? He says I see it with Lucha Bros and Mark, but how many different people you got there, Coog? Coog. 3. All right.
Man, I'm looking at this card again.
Every match, dude. Everybody. We might see every single person bleed on this card.
No, I'm thinking of scaling down.
From 4?
From 5.
Oh, from 5.
Yeah, I think 5 may be a little too ambitious. Like I think the death match is a given for both. I think the 60-minute one is at least 1. I think the final burial is at least 1.
That's a good point there, Ed. That's a great point, Ed.
I'm going down.
I'm gonna lose my 4 now.
I'm gonna go down to 4. All right. And then Coog said 3, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's say.
All right, there we have it.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think we can leave it at that.
All right, there was our card. You want to just do a real quick rundown of the card one more time before we get out of here for tonight?
Sure. First we have the trios match: the Varsity Elite Athletes versus Ari Daivari versus Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Bros. Final burial match: Jack Perry versus Christian Cage. Everyone is banned from ringside when Chris Jericho takes on Ricky Starks. The AEW World Tag Team Championship will be on the line in a 4-way dance. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal versus the Guns versus the Acclaim versus Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. The AEW Women's World Championship will be on the line in a 3-way dance. Saraya versus Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho. TNT Championship match, Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. The AEW World Trios Championship match, The Elite defending against the House of Black. Texas Death, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. And a 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, MJF defending against Bryan Danielson.
That is going to be a fantastic show. When you look at that written down on paper, there is no way that this is not going to be an awesome pay-per-view. I think this is going to be freaking awesome. Ed says not as fast as Excalibur, bro. You might have to...
Hold on. I want to try again. Hold on. Give me a second.
Lube up, you know.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. This coming Sunday at AEW Revolution in the trios match, Varsity Athletes versus Ari Daivari, Mark Briscoe, and Lucha Bros. The final burial, Jack Perry versus Christian Cage. Everyone's banned from ringside when Chris Jericho takes on Ricky Starks. The AEW World Tag Team Championship on the line, a 4-way dance. Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, the Guns versus the Acclaim versus Orange Cassidy and Danhausen. The AEW Women's World Championship will be on the line, a 3-way dance. Saraya versus Jamie Hayter versus Ruby Soho. TNT Championship match, Samoa Joe versus Wardlow. The AEW World Trios Championship match, The Elite defending against the House of Black. Texas Death, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. And then a 60-minute Iron Man match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, MJF versus Bryan Danielson.
Nice. That was a good one. A little more excitement next time, you know, but you got the speed down. Almost getting there on the speed.
Yeah, right.
Got to get the breath breaks in faster.
No, it's fine.
Oh, that's awesome. So, question for you. I've actually got asked a couple of times now if we wanted to do some sort of a watch along. I don't think we'll do a watch along, but what I think we might do is like record ourselves while we're watching. You know what I mean? Like not actually be live, but I'll have it recorded, and then you guys will get to see some of our reactions to what happens later in like a couple of videos I'll clip out or something like that. You know? What do you think?
Yeah,
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. And Coog, of course, you know, watch along. We can always do it in Discord. You know what I'm saying? We always hang out in the Discord while we're watching. We like to chat in there of what's going on. So if you're not part of our Discord yet, if somebody could type in !Discord for me, that would be great. Please join our Discord. It is very active. We're always in there chatting, throwing up memes, making fun of the E, shitting on Triple H, the banana nose man himself. It's fantastic in there. You'll have a great time, I promise. We even convinced the Coog to download Discord, and he doesn't even do social media. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I want to go ahead and close us out, sir.
Yep. Well, thank you to everyone hanging out with us here tonight. Please hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. This has been episode 123 of the Broken Tables podcast. While you're at it, please go check out some of our other videos. Come back here Sunday night following Revolution as we do our Revolution post show and prediction results show. Follow us on social media in the description below. We also do a gaming podcast. Join us on Monday nights for the Game Room where we talk about video games. I'm tired. Everyone have a good night.
Yeah, and you know what? Ed has a great point. So during the pay-per-view, instead of on Discord, you know how we always have the video ready to go that's like, upcoming live? So we will be in the chat for the upcoming live show. That's a great point, Ed. Thank you very much. I can't believe I did not think of that. That's an excellent idea, sir.
Yes, Coop, the Revolution show is right after. Come right here on YouTube, right after the pay-per-view.
Yep, right after the pay-per-view. And, we will have the scrum on this time in case anything crazy happens again, unlike Brawl Out when we were kind of like, oh, yeah, we'll get to it.
I think they're done with doing
yeah, we should be good here. But thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. I have a blast with you guys every single night we are here. We will catch you guys right after the pay-per-view. But until then, top guys, out.